What's up, everybody? J Heat Sports Media coming at y'all again with that fire as always. Spitting the hot topics and getting the sports conversation started. Out here at Blue Valley Winery off of 66, kicking it. Want to talk about boxing real quick. I said I was going to give you my top 25. Let's get into it. So, we need to talk about boxing. I said I was coming at you with 4 videos about the 25 best boxers in the world today, in my opinion. So, from my perspective, I'm going to get right into it. Starting at number 25 in the world, to me, Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder. If you haven't seen this man, you gotta check him out. He should be coming back soon. He's a heavyweight boxer. Deontay Wilder stands at about 6'7". One reason I do not have him higher on my list is because of his skill set. I think leaves something to be desired at times, where he doesn't quite show you a complete package of skills when it comes to his boxing ability, but he is a supreme athlete. He's the hardest hitter in the sport of boxing, bar none. The heavyweight division is where the big boys are, and he's the heaviest hitter in that division. He's shown he has a chin in his fights with Ortiz. He also showed he had a little bit of a chin when he went against Tyson Fury. But one knock on him would be he hasn't quite fought that many people outside of those 2 heavyweights as far as the top 10 or 15, if you will, heavyweights in the world. But he has fought over 40 fights, 42 wins, 41 by KO. And when I say he puts people to sleep, people, I mean get the smelling salt out. They are out for sure. If you've seen him recently, we all know he can't deal with Tyson Fury. That verdict is out. He lost clearly 3 times, in my opinion. One was called a draw. But they're talking about him making a run to get back in the title picture, being an eliminator for the title. So keep your eye out for Deontay Wilder. At number 24, a young and up-and-coming boxer, Ryan King Rye Garcia, as he calls himself. Internet sensation, fights at 135 pounds. He's popular on Instagram, more so than maybe even in the boxing world. But to his credit, he's bringing something that you don't see too much from boxers, the way he uses social media to build up his fan base. But he's got fast hands and a lot of power. Footwork is decent, and he's undefeated, knocking out 18 or 22 opponents. But he definitely has to get himself in the ring with some top competition, which he's claiming now that's coming up pretty soon. So keep an eye out, because it could be some fireworks if he gets in there with a couple of the top guys at 135, because that's a loaded division, and I'll be mentioning some of them guys as we continue. And then, of course, there's Mikey Garcia. Staying with Garcia is no relation, but Mikey, he's one of the best boxers. Was at one point, some would have considered him for sure top 10 pound for pound best in the world. Maybe even top 5. He's kind of fell off since then. I got him at 23 right now out of respect that he still is one of the best boxers in the world. He dominated at 125, 130. 135 guys was avoiding him. Because of that, he moved up to 140 to become a 4-time division champ, which he accomplished, but he didn't quite carry his power up to 140. Then he went to 147, got greedy, thinking he saw something in Errol Spence that he could break down, thought he could outbox him. Got in the ring with Errol Spence, and because his power didn't carry to 140, it definitely didn't carry to 147, so he couldn't really hurt Errol, and his theory about outboxing him went out the window because Earl made a point to show he was the better boxer. So that was a downtime for Mikey. And since then, he's won a fight, lost a fight, but he needs to work his way back down, in my opinion, to 135, where he was at his best. And some of the best boxers in the world reside there, and there could be some real good fights. And he would really get guys to want to fight him at this point, in my opinion, because he has kind of had a little bit of a downturn the last few fights. Before, when he was hot, 40 fights, 30 knockouts, guys was avoiding him. Now that he's lost to Earl, lost his recent fight at 140, guys might think that he's good for the pickings, but I don't think so. Keep an eye on him, great counter puncher. And I got a few more. Let's get into them too. Okay, so moving on, number 22 on my list, Vergil Ortiz. He's fighting at the welterweight division currently. Make sure you check him out. 18 wins, all by knockout. He's under the promotion of Oscar De La Hoya, who's trying to groom him to get him prepared for some big fights. So he's got in the ring with a couple decent guys. Not a lot of huge big names yet, but he looks very impressive. Got in the ring with some guys that can slug it out, and we've seen already that Vergil got a chin. And he's got the knockout power because, like I said, he's stopped everybody he's fought so far. But he's up and coming, looking for a chance at the welterweight world championships, which right now, with Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford trying to figure out their situation, and the fact that they're claiming they're going to move up after they figure out their fight, it'll probably be Vergil Ortiz getting an opportunity to compete against somebody different from them for the belts. But he is a #1 contender for one of the belts right now currently, and is looking for his opportunity. So keep an eye out for him, up and coming. Then at number 21, you've got an old school guy, Gennady Golovkin, Triple G. He's got a big fight that's about to come up soon versus Canelo Alvarez. Going to be one of the biggest fights of the year because it's their third time going at each other. Me personally, I don't think I really need to see that fight much more because Triple G and him showed me they fight pretty close to even. And if it's close to even, it seems to me like the judges favor Canelo. He's the people's champ in a lot of people's eyes, especially the boxing world and boxing judges. You would have saw that from his last fight when even in the loss, they called it a lot closer than it probably really was. That said, no shade on Canelo. People like him. Triple G, on the other hand, he kind of straight up and down, as Floyd Mayweather described him. Footwork is decent. Mainly, he leads with a jab, and he's got a consistent good jab and a lot of power. Done knocked out 37 of his 42 opponents that he's fought. He's put people to sleep viciously. One of the hardest hitters in boxing, right there under a guy like Deontay Wilder. And other than Canelo Alvarez, has no blemishes on his record. Has beat everybody. At one point, was holding the middleweight 160-pound crown for longer, or one of the longest stretches in boxing history. So he's still out there. Watch his fight September 17th against Canelo Alvarez. Big one to check out. Then at number 20, we want to talk about Devin Haney. Devin Haney, young guy coming up. Got a little more than 20 fights under his belt. Not a knockout artist, more of a boxer. Has had a few tips given to him by Floyd Mayweather, which kind of pissed off Gervonta Tank Davis a little bit. There's a little beef there. We might get a fight between them two later, either later this year or going into next year, depending on how Haney's situation goes. But Haney is undefeated. He's currently the WBC champion at 135 pounds. He's ready to fight against George Kambosos, who won against Timofeo Lopez when he took the belt from him in a fight that was one-sided for the most part. And now Kambosos has his opportunity. He's a top contender, not even on my list, but he is holding 3 belts. But he's from Australia. Devin Haney's coming to his hometown with a contract that stated, and this tells you about Devin Haney's skill set, because Kambosos was willing to fight him, but they say guys been ducking Haney. And it kind of seems that way with Kambosos because he demanded not only a rematch clause in this fight contract, but both fights have to be in Australia where he's from. And Devin Haney signed the contract. And one of his lead trainers, Pops, can't get into the country, and he said, I'm still coming to take that belt off of him, or belts, if you will, so he can be the undisputed champ at 135. And if that happens, he could vault from number 20 on my list into the top 15 for sure. And he'll be in the eyes of Gervonta Tank Davis, a number one fighter for him to go at, because he's in that weight class, and he wants to get at him. So make sure you watch that fight coming up this first weekend in June. Check out Devin Haney, Kambosos. Good fight. Then also, we got number 19 on the list, a phenom, if you will, David Benavidez at 168. Fought at 175 pounds, but he can make 168 as well. 6 feet, almost a 75-inch reach, which is ridiculous. He's got quick hands, good feet. He can fight inside, outside, mid-range, and he puts people to sleep. He's put most of his opponents to sleep, if I'm not mistaken, about 23 out of 26 opponents. And he's got guys ducking him. Canelo Alvarez, the word is on the street, he don't want to fight him. The word is on the street, one of the Charlo brothers, Jamal Charlo, he actually didn't even want to get in his face when they squared up outside the ring at one point. Not to fight, but just exchanging words. They say Charlo looked like he was a little bit timid there. He claims that didn't happen, but footage says otherwise in some people's eyes. That being said, Benavidez is a little bit of the boogeyman at 168, so you really need to check him out. And he's going to be an up-and-coming star, number one contender for Canelo's undisputed crown at 168. And then my last guy on this video is the phenom right now, in my opinion, Jaron Boots Ennis, being compared to the likes of Floyd Mayweather. He's been compared to Sweet Pea Pernell Whitaker. He's been compared to Roy Jones Jr. and most recently, Tommy the Hitman Hearns. All of these accolades are warranted when you just look at him from the eye test. He's got the total package. Slick boxer, probably the most comfortable boxer in boxing, and I'm including Terrence Crawford and his ability to go unorthodox or fight you orthodox. Either way, can lead with a consistent jab in both positions, has power in each hand. Either way, shift his feet however you want him, fight you inside, fight you outside, mid-range, got the whole package. 29 wins, 27 by stoppage. He has never been past the 6th round in any fight, and experts say he has yet to lose a round in boxing currently. All his fights, every round he's won, is what they say. So that's legit. He looks the part to me. I don't know if I quite see Floyd Mayweather as much as I see Roy Jones and Sweet Pea in him, even more so than Thomas the Hitman Hearns as well. I do see a little bit of Roy Jones, a little bit of Sweet Pea, but stronger. Looks like more of an athlete. I kind of call him the future Superman of boxing, and the reason I say that is because when you see him in interviews, he wearing glasses like me, but not shades. I'm talking about the regular glasses, looking a little bit like Clark Kent, unsuspecting. He step in the ring, he take them glasses off, he look like a brother from around the block that been fighting for a while, like he's a thoroughbred boxer. So you got to watch out for this man. He want all the smoke. He calling out everybody, even want the big fish Earl Spence. He wants to see Terrence Crawford. The only knock is, in his 29 fights, he ain't really fought the best of top competition, so we got to see. That's the only knock, but he looks the part. Make sure you watch his next fight and watch my next video. All right, that's all the time I got. Y'all know what it is. J Heat Sports Media. Remember to like, subscribe, or hit the bell on YouTube. Catch me on Instagram as well, at the Vault JMU414 on Twitter, and of course, what's up TikTok? I'll let y'all next time.